A very good morning to all. Today we will be starting with the new chapter, chapter number 11, and the name of the chapter is Rights and Duties. So here we will be covering these 4 points. First one, importance of the Constitution, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, directive principles of the state policy. Now here in page number 93, you can see some pictures. So by seeing this picture, you can make out that India is a vast country and it is the land of diversities. So you can see here different people. They follow different religion, they speak different language, their way of dressing is different, their tradition, their culture, all are different. But our constitution says that despite of these differences, all are considered equal. So here in this chapter, we will be discussing about the Constitution of India. So here in page number 94, you can see a small flow chart. The heading is the Constitution of India and the subtopics are fundamental rights, fundamental duties and directive principle of state policy. Now let's start our chapter. So kids, at home you expect your parents to provide you with good house, proper food, to look after you, proper dress and to pay your school fee. So these are your rights. But along with these rights, you have certain duties. So some of the main duties are like you have to respect your elders and you have to pay attention to your studies. So both this rights and duties walk hand in hand. As you know that India was ruled by the British for many years, and after long and hard struggle, our country got its freedom on 15th August 1947 and we celebrate this day as the Independence Day. Now after getting independence, our leader got together and they formed the government. And the first thing they did was they made a set of rules. Now these rules are known as the Constitution of India. It's a written document and it is the longest written document in the world. It consists of set of rules which guides a country or a state or government or any other political parties in their functioning. So it took 2 years, 11 months and 17 days to complete the work of preparing this Constitution of India. Now here you can see picture of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was the chairperson of drafting committee of preparing the entire Constitution. Now here drafting means preparing. So the preparing committee of the Constitution of India and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman and he played a very important role and he is also known as the father of the Indian Constitution. Now when you turn to page number 93, you can see a democratic citizenship skill question and the question is, who is known as the father of the Indian Constitution? So I hope you all can answer it and you have to answer it in your notebook. Now let's move on to the topic. So B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee to prepare the entire Constitution. And this Constitution of India was adopted on 26 November 1942. So adopted means it's a process of approval. So on this day, this Constitution was approved by the members and this day is celebrated as Constitution Day. And Constitution of India came into force on 26 January 1950 and this day is celebrated as Republic Day every year. So we can also say that Constitution of India is the supreme law of our country. Now, in your textbook in page number 95, you can see a picture It is a picture of the preamble to the Constitution of India. Now, preamble is nothing but a preface or an introduction which gives the highlights of the contents written in the Constitution of India. So, it is an introduction about the Constitution of India. Now, let us discuss why is the Constitution so important. As we have already discussed that the Constitution of India consists of set of rules, and these rules helps or guide how a country, a state or government or any other political organization works. So, it tells the works of the government, what they are allowed to do and what they are not allowed to do. And it also prevents the government from becoming all powerful, and it also prevents the government from misusing the power. And it also provides that these powers are divided into 3 levels, that is central government, state government and local self-government. Now, this Constitution of India also provides certain rights and duties to all the citizens of the country, and it helps the people to become a better citizen. Next, you can see preamble of the Constitution of India. As I have already told you, it is a preface or introduction which highlights the contents of the Constitution of India. Next, we will discuss about the rights. So, what are rights? Rights are claims or some special benefits that are given to the people of the country. So, these rights are necessary to help people to become better citizens. And if people think that these rights are being violated, then they can go to the court for their protection. And it also keeps in mind, so the government also keeps in mind while making laws that these rights are given to the citizens of the country. So, these are the rights. Now, let us discuss the 6 fundamental rights of our country. Now, the next thing is that what are the fundamental rights and why it is said to be fundamental rights. These rights are fundamental because of 2 reasons. The first one is the Constitution of India guarantees them, because it's written in the Constitution that these rights are to be provided to the citizens of the country for their better living. And the second one is these rights are protected by the court. That means they are justiciable. That means if a person thinks that his or her rights are being violated, then they can go to the court for their protection. So, because of these 2 points, these rights which we are going to discuss are known as the fundamental rights. Now, let us discuss the 6 fundamental rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution of India. So, here in page number 96, you can see the first right, right to equality. Now, the basic meaning is that all citizens should be treated equally. So, you all know that India is a vast country and it is a land of diversities where people live in different states and they practice different religion, they have different festivals, their tradition, their culture all are different. Their place of birth is different, so there are many differences. Despite of these differences, all are equal and they all will be protected under the law of the country equally. So, this is the meaning of right to equality. Now, the next right is right to freedom. This right consists of many different rights. So, first one you can see here, right to freedom of speech and expression. So, this right tells that all the citizens are free to speak or communicate or express his or view on any issues or topic that are related to our country. So, the person can use different mediums like newspaper, television, radio, internet for expressing his or her views. Now, this right to freedom also says that every person has the right to live in any part of our country, and they are also free to travel all around the country, and they are free to practice any profession, or they are free to choose any business. So these all comes under right to freedom. Now the next one is right against exploitation. So this means that nobody can exploit or take advantage of any other citizens. It also means that nobody can force children that is below the age of 14 to work. That is, nobody can practice child labor. Children below the age of 14 are not allowed to work in any factories, mines or houses as domestic labor. Now the next one is, the fourth one is right to freedom of religion. So you all know that there are different states, and in different states people practice different religion. So this right says that all the people are equal under the law of the country, and the Indian states has no religion of its own. So people are free to practice any religion, and they are also free to talk about their religion. So this was about the right to freedom of religion. Now the next one is cultural and educational rights. So here you know that India is a large country and there are 28 states. So different people live in these states, they practice different religion, their tradition and their cultures are different. So the Constitution of India says that people living in these states, they have the right to preserve, they have the right to protect their culture, they have the right to develop their culture, and they can follow their own culture. And Constitution also says that they can set up their own schools and colleges in any part of the country. So this was about the cultural and educational rights. Now the next one is right to constitutional remedies. This means that if a person thinks that his or her rights are being violated, then they can go to the court for their protection. So this was about the 6 fundamental rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution of India. Now, one thing you should note that these fundamental rights can be temporarily suspended by the government of India during any national emergencies like war, a threat to public health or any other crisis. Now, let's move on to page number 97. Here you can see the Right to Education Act, and this is an act of the Parliament of India which comes under the second fundamental right that we discussed, that is right to freedom, and it came into force on 1st April 2010. And according to this act, the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children between the age 6 to 14 years. So this was about the Right to Education Act. So in this class, we discussed about the Constitution of India, preamble, and the 6 fundamental rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution of India to all the citizens of the country. That's all for today. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.